So when I speak of depth tribes, I'm speaking of people who come together seeking first the depths, seeking first the kingdom of heaven, tending first to that process, to that goal. Tyson, Rob, and Ian. These three young men put some wind into Travelin' Trav's sails a few years ago. I can see clearly that divine expression in each of these men's lives. And the invitation that they extended to me allowed me to become a participating member of their brotherhood. In this, they also allowed me to glimpse their shared struggles. Like many of us, these three friends have been trying to help one another. What they have discovered is that it is often difficult to extend help to those we love, because the help they need may be beyond our capacity to give.
Who's that casting devious stares in my direction? Mama, they're shouting, it's a dream. Yeah. Read that radio is everyone off.
See, Mom went first.
I think that's the important thing, is we're all growing.
I feel like we're getting to know each other.
Yeah. All the other kids walk to school. I think there's healing here, guys.
Healed Andrew.
I had the weirdest situation.
I'm just trusting here. I'm just trusting. My heart is open.
Say we go in, fellas.
What is it like to be a relevant member of a community? What is it like to bring our part? How do we develop the depth of compassion needed to be close to others while also maintaining appropriate personal boundaries so that the needs of others don't sink us?
Golf blisters on my fingers.
You know, I actually learned to play with Glenn and my dad. I learned to play on a trap set, and he would sing and play the guitar, and he had a 1972's type wood pedal.
No way.
Yeah, it was awesome. It had a little percussion drum set on it, and he would, he'd get it going on his little amp.
Epic.
And we played things like Margaritaville and Bad Leroy Brown, just the solids,
There are those of us who seem to struggle more than others. These struggles are understandable when we consider the levels of consciousness from which we arose. It is good to give thanks for our ancestors, as Tyson was so brilliantly doing a moment ago as he remembered how Glenn and his dad invited him into their music-making practice. It is essential that we pay our respects to all those sources of depth that we have had the privilege of encountering. Also, we must somehow transcend the generations that preceded us. We must be capable of giving thanks for all the love that we were given, while simultaneously coming into an awareness of the limiting beliefs that we inherited from our ancestors.
I dig it.
I feel like I'm on one of those punked TV shows right now. Somehow, the universe set me up with this fucking awesome band who is going to pretend like they didn't play instruments. for the first like 2 days that I met them, and you start playing, I'm like, what?
Thank you, brother.
That's a conversation. That's a conversation for music, and I love that.
Actually, I think that was the manifesto of this conversation we had earlier.
I think it was. I think it was. I'm just trying to do that right from background, man.
Drop that and
Oh my goodness, what's some shit right there?
Oh, you have an original thought?
No. I never have. I so I promise you.
We'll medicate the symptoms of a dying species away.
Oh, yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
It never happens.
We can do
It's
that.
never
Am I
happened.
dying?
We've got the medication.
Hopefully the dinosaurs will eventually die.
Ma'am.
We give thanks for our ancestors while moving beyond our inherited trauma. This is a higher level function. It requires us to hold two seemingly opposing viewpoints simultaneously. We acknowledge the love that was given, while also allowing those unhelpful thought formations and relationships to dissolve. Sometimes the most helpful thing that we can do for someone is to let them go. It is appropriate to stop giving that which we cannot give joyfully. To leave our limiting thoughts behind, we must free ourselves from those relationships which have enabled or enforced those limiting beliefs.
Thank you, Ty. That's what I wanted. That's all I wanted, man. Good job, dude. Good job, man. Good job, man. I see you, dude. I see you. Yeah.
You want to trade back?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Do the GCD thing.
Yeah, there you go.
You're not some kind of performing, just like some kind
You are.
Yes.
When you say you are, you are.
That's right. That's what I'm saying. Because I'm afraid that's what's happening right now.
Chosen to love someone deep, you've also felt the burdens of the promises.
Hey.
Large backpack shapers. Large backpack shapers. Cartesian curse. I think, therefore I am.
When you start thinking big about your thoughts, right? Just remember to take some medication and stifle that.
If you have been following my online work, then you are familiar with the concept of the depth tribe. It is the patient tending to relationships like these that will bear great fruit later on. I've had many friendships over the years. I have so many friendships now which seem to be sustained by a power greater than myself. You may know yourself as one of these people in my life. We know that we can pick up right where we left off. One of the very important gifts that these young men gave me as I moved toward Key West, Florida that summer almost 3 years ago, what they gave me was this. They said, "Come as you are. Bring what you have to offer. We believe in you. We'd like to put some wind in your sails." And they not only contributed to my life financially, which they did. Thank you very much, my brothers. But they also gave me a greater gift, the brotherhood that I mentioned earlier, and the opening of their lives and the sharing. And during that time, we inevitably made mistakes about how to see one another through to that next place, but there was an effort made there. There were seeds planted, and hopefully in the future, we will once again become relevant in one another's lives. So when I speak of depth tribes, I'm speaking of people who come together seeking first the depths, seeking first the kingdom of heaven, tending first to that process, to that goal. And wherever we may fall short, we may have the opportunity to grow because of that, especially if we can leave those situations with deep acceptance, compassion, forgiveness in our hearts. May we continue to find those relationships where we discover our depth.
You know what? I've been meaning to ask you, Travis. I know I asked you about Cage the elephant. What about Riptide, man? Do you kill that?
Riptide?
Yeah.
Is that a genre?
Nope. That's hilarious.